The message was, you can succeed despite your body, not because it deserves space. And it's clear that plus size models had to try twice as hard to compete and that they could not have an off day. I'm Ash.
And I'm Callie.
And welcome to The Recovery Feed. This is a podcast about eating disorder recovery, told by people who've lived it. On this show, we talk about the messy and multi-layered reality of eating disorders, what recovery actually looks like, and throw in some not-so-gentle needling of diet and wellness culture for good measure. Come for the lived experience and the hot takes. Stay for the side quests. This podcast is recorded on the lands of the Gadigal and Gubbi Gubbi people. Welcome back to my magnum opus, my Roman Empire, my audio PhD. Today we will be continuing on part 2 of 3. I swear it's 3 parts. I can't do another one of these after this. But part 2 of our deep dive.
You're going to make me rock in a corner. It's way too much.
Yeah.
I have a life to live, Ash. Children to parent, a job to do.
Yeah.
Dinners to cook and,
corners to rock in.
Corners to rock in.
But welcome back to the deep dive on America's Next Top Model. And in this part, we're going to be talking about how America's Next Top Model treated plus-size contestants and how it portrayed eating disorders. And then we're also, actually, no, that is how extensive this part is and how rich the content is in that we're only covering those 2 things today.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how angry am I going to get? Just so I'm prepared.
Probably a 14.
14. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
A solid 14.
Great. I've got my emotional support water bottle and my, sensory toys ready to go.
Good. Yeah. So in the next part, that's where we're going to be closing everything out in terms of how it shaped a generation of sort of body image and beauty standards. And we're going to take another look back at Tyra, why she did all of this stuff, and then more of questions about bodily autonomy and then production tactics and everything. But
okay, cool.
If you haven't listened to the last episode, I'm not going to judge you, but what are you doing? Some of this may make sense to you, but a lot of it won't. So first of all, go back and watch that and then jump back in here. Because last episode, I told a lot of you to put a lot of pins and a lot of things. We started unraveling a little bit, but now we're going to be going back to a lot of it and unraveling it further. So of course, before we start, all the standard boilerplating, please subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. You can watch us, this episode, in fact, right now over on YouTube. Hello. If you'd like to support our little show, you can help us cover the cost of running the pod by donating to our Buy Me a Coffee. You can also support us in other ways by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or sharing us with a friend. And all of those links are in the description and show notes below. And as always, you will have our undying love and affection forever and always. Thank you so much.
Whoop, whoop.
And lastly, another big old trigger warning again. Anyone who has lived through the early 2000s of reality TV knows just how toxic it was on TV. And there will be more clips in this episode. This is probably going to be like the most triggering episode. So it will contain talk and description of eating disorders, fat shaming, weight stigma, and fat phobia. And yes, weight stigma and fat phobia are 2 very different things.
Yes.
If you are not feeling any of that right now, or you're just not feeling this, totally understand. Please protect your penis.
Get out of here.
And skip on past. But I will give you some warnings before any of the more crazier stuff, so you can skip ahead just a little bit more if you would rather do that. And of course, if you need immediate resources or help, you can find all of those in the description box below, in the show notes, and on our website. Also on our website are the references and sources that I've used for this shameful amount of research. But they are also...
Please stop using that language. Stop it.
Okay. But you can...
Rephrase, please.
No, we don't have time. Literally, we do not have time.
We'll pretend we didn't hear that. It's all good.
But all of the references and sources I've used are in the show notes below, but also you can listen to the last episode where I mentioned a bunch of them. So, Callie, Last episode, we pretty much covered the origin story of America's Next Top Model, Tyra's early years, a little bit of her feud with Naomi Campbell, the general format of the show, and I introduced you to my central thesis of this cultural phenomenon, which I will continue to unpack in the minutes as we go on. So if you remember, my central thesis is that the show was pitched to us by Tyra, on the record by Tyra, as both a window into the reality of what it takes to be a top model, as well as I want to break down the standards of beauty for the modeling world and the world at large. And my point is that it is an impossibility to do both because she didn't. And intent does not erase impact.
Correct.
So as we started seeing last episode, Tyra says one thing and then goes on to completely contradict herself with her actions predominantly as an executive producer. Meanwhile, she'll package all of this up and gaslight us, allegedly, into thinking that it was empowering, which it was not, because empowered, I did not feel.
That's a word for it, yeah. I'm not sure empowered is the word that I would choose, that's for sure.
Exactly. So, caveat again, as I said in the last episode, Tyra is not solely to blame here because, say it with me, it's all your fault, Ken Mock. It's all your fault, Ken Mock.
Oh, why is his name such a stem?
I know, right? It's such a stem.
Mock.
I love it.
Mock.
Ken Mock. Exactly. Ken Mock, as the reality TV devil that he was, has something to do with it as well. The very nature of reality TV has a lot to do with it. The evil overlords of network television, brand sponsorships and ad placements definitely have a lot to do with it.
Capitalism.
Exactly. So no, I cannot blame Tyra for everything. I'll blame her a lot.
She definitely plays a role.
Yeah, I will definitely blame her for a lot of things. Do not get me wrong. But she is a cog in a massive wheel that is the reality TV monster. A massive cog, like a huge cog in the wheel. But also at the same time, she has gone on the record to say this was her baby. She put herself front and center as the host, as the face of it. This was her contribution.
You got to take responsibility for that.
You can't claim the wins while refusing to take the responsibility for the wrongs.
And I just want to, again, link all of this back because I just feel like just the more we talk about this, Ash, just how much it reminds me of social media in today's climate.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything we talk about, I feel like we can directly, like it sounds so huge and like crazy and just like, what the fuck? But I just want to remind everyone as you're listening to this to apply this critical lens and thinking to our social media climate as it is right now, because I think it will assist people in being able to approach social media in a healthier way.
Completely. And I also, another reason why we're doing this is also to sort of understand the sort of fabric that a lot of us were growing up underneath and the fabric of society that a lot of us grew up in, and why a lot of people that are our age in particular, millennials and also Gen Z and Gen X as well, why a lot of us have the perceptions of weight, body image, fatness, thinness that we do, and eating disorders, because this is what was on our television screens for 10 years.
Totally.
Tyra, she gets a lot of responsibility for the harms this show caused because she was the expert. She made us believe that this was all of her baby, so therefore she has to own those harms. And one of the harms caused were a result of how America's Next Top Model treated plus-size models and contestants.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Also, another caveat. I'm obviously coming at this with my thin privilege,
yes,
but I'm doing
yep.
my best to advocate for those who were absolutely wronged and the effects of this on everyone at large, but especially those people who are in fat and large bodies.
I think that, we always acknowledge our thin privilege here. Absolutely. Like we will never obviously know firsthand and like what it was in those scenarios, but also as it is today as well, because we know it's still very, very rampant today. But I think everyone who knows us on the pod knows that this is one of our we will go into battle about.
Yes.
And
we operate as much as we can from a fat positive framework.
Absolutely. And, have consulted with trusted people that, you know, we've learned so much in this area and continue to learn so much. And we will always be loud about how fucked this is, because it's so important for us people with the privilege to be loud about it as well.
100%. Having said all that, less than half of the cycles, and remember, cycles, not seasons, less than half the cycles didn't include at least one plus size contestant. However, I use the term plus size very loosely.
Oh, yeah.
Not just because, as the great Aubrey Gordon says in her works, quote, "Don't call me fluffy or plus size, big boned or more to love, just say fat," end quote. But for the purposes of this next section, I will use plus size in the way that the show does. Some of the contestants, especially in the earlier cycles, were labeled as plus size, who absolutely were not.
Very straight sized.
Not even. Thin.
Okay.
Just thin.
Okay, cool.
And I would argue, not even by like modeling world, they were labeled as plus size, because plus size was talked about as like a size 8 to 10 American, which is like a 12 to 14 Australian.
Like curvy.
Kind of, but also I will give you an example shortly.
Okay, all right. So it's just bogus is what you're trying to say. It's them having a really fucked up, warped perception of what body ideals are in the modeling world.
I mean, especially when you have people who are so thin already. Anyone is also just going to look, anyone that's not that size is going to look bigger anyway. So, and let's just call it plus size and call it a day.
Yeah.
And especially when this first started, this was still sort of peak.
It's just a lack of thought around it as well, right? Like, just a complete lack of,
Yeah. Like they were not even plus size in terms of the plus size category. And in this sort of peak heroin chic era, there really was no market for plus size. And especially like if they did have a plus size category in the modeling world, there was no high fashion for it. Like they weren't walking the Paris runways, you know, for the ateliers. They like, you could make a career as a plus size model, but you were not like top supermodel status. Until later, when you did have the people like Ashley Graham, who were absolutely like trailblazers. And Tyra did help pave that way.
Which, as a side note, still very much thin privilege there.
Yes, exactly. And then, of course, you see models like Tess Halliday, who are just like, she can't breathe without people saying you're glorifying obesity. So, yeah. Going to be fair, having said all of this, Tyra did not have to have plus size models. She didn't have to. She could have said, nah, not gonna, it's not really realistic in the high fashion world. I'm not gonna bother. So then you could say, okay, well, is it really a realistic portrayal of the modeling world? You know?
I was going to say, should she have even bothered? Like if she was going to, like, it's one of those things, you know, when like we're going to have someone lived experience to consult on this, and it's like the basic fucking level of consultation and it's to tick a box.
They're literally present in the room.
Like you should not have even bothered, because it's actually more harmful that you tried.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Like she did put them on TV and she gave them a platform, and we did see plus size, fuller figured women on our screens, which was breaking the standards of beauty at the time. Tyra, I will give you that. And that's pretty much all I would actually give you, because like you said, the things that
treatment and
because the things that Tyra subjected these poor women to on a global stage was cruel and unusual. All right, cycle one.
Let's go.
Cycle one had a plus size contestant.
Okay.
Okay. Cycle one had a plus size contestant. And again, I use that term in the loosest form. Her name was Robin Manning. We're unpinning Robin from our last episode.
Yes. Okay. I remember you mentioning Robin. Yes.
Yes. She was also the really religious one who told Elise on a regular basis that she was going to go to hell. But I'm not going to hold that against her. She also did take a lot of issues with another model, Ebony, for being gay. So don't love that. Hate that, actually.
Okay.
I'm not going to do her accent, but it's like, Ebony's a lesbian, and I found that offensive, was a direct quote. Yes.
Trigger warning there, I suppose.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, trigger warning for... I hate that. No, thank you. At the same time, that does not mean that she deserved the hate she got in terms of an edit.
Yeah, okay.
So for those on YouTube, I'm going to put a photo up of Robin. Callie, I'm going to send some photos to you.
Okay.
And I would like you to tell me what you see.
Okay.
Describe to me what you see.
Like the picture, like
So this is Robin, the plus size contestant for cycle 1.
oh, I see a very objectively thin woman posing in a pose in a bikini.
I love that you're like, yeah, what am I seeing here? Like, yeah, no.
Like
That
what
was the plus size
specifically am I
person.
describing? Oh, I see a very objectively, like by every beauty standard, thin woman.
Yeah.
Who meets every beauty standard possible.
Here's another one.
Yeah, same feedback.
It's the same picture.
I have no other feedback to give that it's an objectively thin person who meets every single beauty standard possible. Modeling.
Yeah. So this is
A
the
wild of the times type necklace, I will say, like a very
right. It is so 2000s. I love
it's very
it.
like nightclubby, like
Oh my God,
you wear
it
your
is-
peplum top with the big like fancy necklace.
And like satin cargo
net-
pants
and
with
like
boots.
the
Yep.
the big cuff bracelet. But
Yep.
yeah,
And the lip
very
gloss.
objectively meeting every single beauty standard that you could possibly think of.
Exactly. So yeah,
cool.
this is the
Yeah.
woman who was berated not just because she dared to enter this competition. So let me rephrase: cast on this competition. Cast on this
Auditioned
competition.
and was let into the competition. Yes.
Yeah, at the old age, quote unquote, of 24.
Sorry?
Yeah, 24. She was saying she's so old to be starting modeling, which I mean, like, sure, then don't cast her.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just let that one slide. Okay.
Yeah, so she was constantly berated for being practically geriatric.
Why did they let her in then? They're looking for like younger people.
Which I'm like, yeah, sure, totally a realistic portrayal of the modeling industry then, right? So no, we're just going to say, okay, well, we're doing it for beauty standards and trying to change that. Meanwhile, you pitched this woman as a full-figured plus-size model for cycle 1 and say, yeah, we're challenging the beauty standards. And then
And you're too
go
old.
on to completely berate her for the size that she is. Yeah. So just to give you an idea
Okay.
of the kind of treatment that Robin endured at the hands of this show, I'm going to roll a quick clip. Now, trigger warning for body shaming, weight stigma, if you can even fucking call it that, because it's not. She's so small. Not saying that it would be okay if she was fat, but like, what the fuck? So yeah, if you don't want to hear that, just skip forward about like 30, 45 seconds if you just want to pass by that.
Felt a little bit bad for Robin because she is the bigger up down here in the hips and thighs than the rest of us.
Okay, Robin?
Now, are we shooting for the large size category?
Yes, Robin would represent a plus size model. One problem that I do have with Robin, I think on the top she's not plus size and on the bottom she is. Robin?
Robin's out as far as I'm concerned about being a supermodel.
Absolutely not. This girl should not be the first
Well,
one.
that's my
I think we're
humble.
looking for-
Why?
for the
Because I
worst.
think Next America's top model is not a plus size model. I'm sorry.
I just wish her upper body was bigger and matched her lower body better.
Do you have to be covered all the time? Like, why can't you want to be covered? This is saying, oh, I've got hips, so I'm covering them up. Why are you crying, Robin? Talk to me. Why are you crying?
Let's just call it as it is. Robin, first of all, is too old to be starting
And fat.
model.
She's huge. She's not going to be a top model.
She won't. That's
she
the
should
reality.
work
That's
for a
what
car toppling company.
Robin is a fabulous girl, but you know what? She doesn't trust her own body.
Robin?
I don't know what she's doing in Paris.
Yeah, I'm going to stop there.
Laughs and uncomfortable. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah. So that's
Justice for Robin. In
Right?
a sense. Apart from
And-
the, like, I don't know, the fucking homophobia. But, like,
Yeah. So Tyra's like, oh, do you have to be covered all the time? It's like, well, when that's the kind of feedback you're getting, I would want to be covered too.
but I also love that, oh no, what's wrong?
Oh, this says I have hips. It's like, yeah, and look what happens when I show them.
I just wish to top match to bottom. What does that even mean?
It's like, okay, would you like to have a word with her genetics then?
What does that even mean? I don't.
What that means, and this became clearer throughout the other times where there were plus size contestants, was that like, oh, I wish her, like, she's like plus size on the bottom. This was Tyra's advice a lot of the time. You should just gain a bunch of weight to become a plus size model, or you need to lose weight to become a traditional model. The thing about gaining weight to become a plus size model is you can't really determine where all of that weight goes. So
no one controls that.
I would imagine if that's Robin's body size, then you would imagine that she'll probably just put more weight on in her hips rather than on top, because that's just where it goes. And then she'd be berated for like, oh, her, like she just doesn't have the silhouette for it.
It's still no. But like it's the language. Oh, laughs and uncomfortable. Like she's fat.
She's huge.
She's huge. And like we know now, and we've unpacked this so much with so many of our guests and like conversations that we've had and the way that the language that we use, that, sorry, first of all, not an insult.
Yeah.
Body type, not a fucking insult. It's a body type. People are allowed to be fucking fat. Also, though, let's be very clear on what that is, because it's not that. And so, like, it's so harmful in so many different levels. And obviously back then there probably wasn't these conversations in that language about, you know, this topic. And okay, cool. If you want to start playing to the times then, that's still just fucking mean.
Yeah. And I mean, Janice Dickinson, who is the person that was probably the most critical in that entire clip, she has basically never shifted on this stance. She has always berated people. She's extremely...
she's a dinosaur, right? Did we establish that?
Yes. She calls herself the first supermodel ever, which is not true. Allegedly.
The first supermodel ever? What does that mean?
It's just a title that she gave herself.
Yeah.
But she's also basically openly admitted, and this came up in Jennifer Posner's book, Reality Bites Back, that Janice Dickinson has basically gone on the record to say, I want my models, because at the point she had a TV show called Janice Dickinson's Modeling Agency or something. I would rather my girls have eating disorders. So that they're so thin. So even more reason just to ignore everything that Janice says.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I would like to remind you
that eating disorders don't just mean that someone's thin. Sorry, continue. Yep.
I think you're expecting Janice Dickinson to have a level of nuance that she just,
I know.
in between her plastic surgery, she just cannot
throw that in the fucking bin. Yeah.
So remember, this was cycle 1. This set the tone for the entire show's treatment of plus-size contestants, which was A, promote the show as a safe and welcoming platform to showcase people of all sizes, lead them to believe that they had just as good a chance of winning as their ultra-skinny counterparts. B, showcase their bubbly and beautiful personalities, something that was prioritized over their looks and their bodies, by the way.
Yuck.
Again, we'll get into that. C, browbeat them, both to their faces and behind their backs, which is then put on international television, for not adhering to the ultra-thin model and beauty standards that they were apparently trying to change.
Yeah.
D, force them to compete against other contestants who were 4 to 5 times smaller than them and then say, yeah, they have an equal shot, while at the same time not providing them with the correct clothes to wear. Put another pin in that.
Yeah, I know where that's going, but yep.
E, they use their weight as storylines or have their size used against them by producers to try and break them for television. F, send them packing when their personalities start fading away before our eyes. And then lastly,
shit, Sherlock,
continuously lead plus-size contestants onto the show with the illusion that they may possibly win the whole thing, despite Tyra only ever crowning one plus-size winner in cycle 10. And don't worry, we will get there.
So my question then, and this is going to, not to sound victim blamey, I just want to know what they were being told when they auditioned, because obviously they would have watched the previous cycles from cycle 1, supposedly, as we are seeing.
So why
would love to know. I'd love to know, what were they told, after having hopefully watched the first cycle and then every cycle then on, in. I'm just what were they told to get them onto the show then? Because that's just, Wild.
Thank you for perfectly segueing me into the
Okay,
next point.
cool. I'm glad because I really want that answered.
Yeah, so essentially these poor ladies and girls, because a lot of them were just so young.
Children.
They were lured onto the show under the false pretenses of being able to win the whole show, when they were really just going to be used as a case study for how the fashion and entertainment industry does not and is not willing to showcase larger women. But for the viewer, they helped this narrative that Tyra was trying to portray for herself, just herself, for her own image, that they could be be comfortable in your own skin and love your body, but only if you have the personality to match, because heaven forbid you're fat and boring. But then at the same time, Tyra consistently chose skinny winners, quote unquote, for 23 out of 24 cycles. And like, call me crazy, Tyra, but that sends the message to me that, oh no, you should just love your body if it's thin. But I think the main thing as well, remember that we're looking at this from our lens in 2026 and before that.
Yes, okay. No, yeah, that's a very good point.
And
yeah.
I want to be completely clear here. I'm also cherry picking a lot of just the really bad stuff. There were moments when Tyra tried to do the whole body positivity thing and say, oh, you look amazing. Oh, your skin is just glowing. Oh, you're just so fabulous.
Yeah, okay.
Those kind of things. And those were the sort of edits that were also put front and center. And then also, no one goes onto reality TV thinking that they're going to get the edit that they receive. Also, they were promised $100,000.
True. Yeah, and to that point in a modeling contract. And so to that point, you know, like you said, I think that's a very, very apt point of like, we're looking at this through a 2026 lens. And like that, don't get us wrong, fat phobia is fucking rampant.
Yeah.
And it's still bad, right? Like we're still seeing, but it's shifted in like the way that it's bad is shifted a little bit. Whereas back when what year was that? 2003?
Yeah.
2003, it was more accepted to outwardly just like, and this is trigger warning, outwardly just fucking hate fat people because they're fat and label them as less than, and almost like, and you read about it all the time, right? Like people who lose a bunch of weight, often they are the most fat phobic of people.
Yes.
Because
this is a phenomenon
they think that, well, they're
I did
like,
it, so you should.
I did it, so you should too. Like I was like, I deserve to be called fat. I see it all the time in like marriages, like, and especially after people have children. This narrative of like,
so hateful.
Yeah, like my wife should lose weight after she has or they have a baby. And if they don't, like there is no excuse basically not to. And if they don't, like I have the right to tell them that they have to. And that sounds wild, but it absolutely exists and exists in so many relationships where a partner feels like they are allowed to tell the other one that they've let themselves go in inverted commas, or, you know, you must lose weight and let me help you lose weight.
And then they'll hold up other women who's like, well, she did it, so you can do it.
Yeah. And so like, I think in 2003, it was very like fat folk, unfortunately, like in a way, and it's disgusting and it makes me feel sick. In a way, so many of the conversations back then was that they felt like maybe they deserved that treatment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because, well, yeah, I am disgusting, which is horrific. Mm-hmm. Horrific, and we do not believe that whatsoever. That is just like disgusting, but it was just so outwardly accepted then.
Yeah. To your point, I mean, then this will be a future episode where we do talk about the 90s and the 2000s as a whole as a cultural phenomenon. But like even the bounce back culture of pregnancies, and you see it with like celebrities, like do not even get me started with Heidi Klum and that Victoria's Secret show when she was like weeks after giving birth and she was just like,
I
hi.
saw one last week of a woman and her personal trainer fucking husband posted a reel where he was like, when grandma takes care of the baby 1 week postpartum, and of this woman, mother who gave birth a week ago, doing a full-on fucking workout. Like I'm talking like a full-on workout. Yep. And being like, she's back at it because she's not lazy. I almost threw my phone in the toilet and flushed it.
I would join you in that. Oh my God.
There are so many fucking issues, not just medical issues with that. Like there's not just like obviously
societal issues, it's psychological
issues,
yeah.
But medical issues also.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
So of course, the caveat for being plus size on this show is that you had to have the message was if you're fat and you've had a personality, then that's okay. Because
but that's still a thing though too, right?
I know, but it was very much for the show. And the best example for this is fan favorite Toccara Jones from Cycle 3. Toccara still is an amazing Black woman who appeared on the show at the age of 22. She was the only plus size model of her cycle, and it became very clear very early on that her storyline was going to be centered around this. Unfortunately, they had a really hard job because Toccara was amazing. Toccara was confident, she was beautiful, she loved her body, she was curvaceous, she had some of the most beautiful proportions I've ever seen. Her skin was like butter. And she had the personality to match. I'm going to roll a quick clip of Toccara, and you can see why she was voted fan voted cover girl of the week 4 separate times, and was a favorite of the judges until she wasn't.
Cool.
Hi, I'm here. I'm Toccara. I'm big, black, beautiful, and loving it.
I thought that was Jay Alexander walking through the door.
All right, Miss Toccara.
I love my skin and I'm working it. I'm hitting 200 in the butt. What?
I want to encourage full-figure women to appreciate their body and to know that they're beautiful and that skinny women are evil. No,
I kind of had to be tough all my life. My whole immediate family been involved in just a crazy life, and so I had to be tough and I had to be the mama. I'm the mama.
Ooh, I had no idea. I thought
Baby, when she released those puppies, they were full-grown dogs.
So that's Toccara.
Still objectively small, right?
Right. She's still straight-sized.
She's objectively small, right? Like she just has
straight-sized. I think, like, especially using Aubrey Gordon's book as a sort of a reference in terms of certain sizes, where, like, straight size meaning that you could go to a shop and find, or even online, on like general retailers, and find your size rather than going to specialty places to find clothes.
Oh, 100%.
Please tell me if I am incorrect, given obviously the time now that we live in finding those clothes. But I think Toccara, that size now, would be straight sized and wouldn't have too much of a problem finding clothes. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Always, I'm assuming a lot of things. I also know that sizing in fashion in particular, especially, like, it's all over the shop, but also it's such a problem.
Oh, I would say, like, objectively, like, not by any means.
Yeah. So she even, like, said on the show, like, she said, don't be scared, America. But the thing is about being a proud plus size woman. But the thing is they weren't, because Toccara still is a fan favorite. Internationally, she was a joy. She had some of the most amazing photographs. I'll put them up.
I mean, her smile immediately was just like, oh, it made you smile.
Yeah. She had some of the most amazing photographs. I'll put some up here, like the one in Jamaica. She had a beauty close-up. The Lee Jeans photo that she did. I'll send you a quick link.
Oh, she's cute.
Right?
Oh my God, her skin.
I know. It's just like the most... Right? That's the beauty close-up.
Jesus Christ on a cracker.
I know. She's gorgeous. And, like, she performed really, really well. She was super bubbly. Not that you have to be, but that was what they were looking for, right?
Yeah.
On photo shoots, crew members were shown saying, not one bad picture.
Well, isn't that, again, just such a, like, a beautiful representation that, like, I'm sure it did not fucking matter if one of the the thin girls that they accepted had a personality or were kind or were gorgeous or had a great smile or were friendly to the workers, et cetera, et cetera. Wouldn't fucking matter because they meet the beauty fucking standard. Mm-hmm. So you're allowed to exist. It's cool. You exist however you want, but unless this person shows up with a smile, don't you fucking dare have a bad day, because then you will be absolutely slaughtered for it, because that makes you not an okay fat person anymore. Not that she's fat.
You're spoiling my point.
Sorry, okay, I'm so sorry.
No one saw that coming. No, you're totally fine. Because again, you can see where this is going. Like, in judging, she was one of the most beloved by so many of the judges, and said amazing photographs week after week. Even Janice Simon Cowell Dickinson said in judging that Toccara, like, said to her face, I think you may just be the one plus size model who could win this. Of course, she would go on to backtrack on that later, but I mean, she said that out loud to
Does
Toccara.
Toccara have a bad day somewhere, then they turn on her?
Of course.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
like,
Shocker.
her amazing personality was not enough to save her from the brutal Tyra scary godmother edit and the production.
Well, I mean, they're trying to break her down. Like, again, military tactics here.
Yeah. Tocara's size was always like used as a storyline, and there were multiple occasions of this. So there was multiple occasions where she didn't receive the clothes that would fit her. So there was this challenge where they had to...
Knew this was coming.
Yeah. There was a challenge where where they all had to pose in the window of a La Perla store, so a lingerie store in the middle of New York City, which is, I'm like, cool. I bet some of them didn't really feel comfortable with that, but sure. There were 2 or 3 other contestants that were like, oh, what size are you? What size are you? And they would say their size. And then it gets to Toccara, where she has to announce that she is a 38 triple D. And shit you not, there was a massive gong sound. Like, what?
What do you mean?
Like, there's like, oh, I'm a 38 triple D. Like, oh my God, can you believe that? Have you ever heard that this is such a huge size? Like ridiculing that of literally her just talking about her size. Like, oh, like, what size are you? Oh, I'm a 34A, or I'm a 32B.
That's fucking genetics.
Right? Like, and of course, all of these other women were given gorgeous lingerie, and she's given this sort of black satin robe that is 2 sizes too small. And this is not the only time that this occurred. There is a more infamous moment that was on the photo shoot for Ford Mustang. And the contestants were told that they would be doing like an alter ego type of shoot where they would be taking 2 separate photos in completely different sort of dress and makeup and stuff. And then the photos would be superimposed together. The challenge made it look like, the challenge was to make it look like the 2 photos were interacting with each other.
Okay.
So now the other models got like alter egos like, oh, a courtesan, problematic, an Amazon woman, problematic, and a socialite and a dominatrix, all problematic. Anyway.
Cultural appropriation.
Oh, God. I'm also not touching on the blackface stuff at all because
I don't think that's safe to do.
If you missed the last episode, I mentioned why we're not talking about the racism and the blackface stuff, because there are better people who have talked about this at length. Go listen to them. So they were all given these great characters, right? Meanwhile, Toccara was given a frumpy orange-colored shirt to wear to dress as a parking attendant, and then then her alter ego was like this blue gown and a blonde wig that honestly made it would look like it was pulled out of like a costume box, or like a cheap one. And she did not look like the other models. It was just like, yes, it was very diva, but it looked cheap.
But also, just to bring back to Tyra in this, you mentioned in the previous episode that Tyra's career shifted into swimsuit modeling when Tyra's boobs got bigger.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Just was a reminder to everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
awesome.
Tyra, yeah, exactly. Thank you for sprinkling that back in there, because we sometimes forget.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, all of these like. Tocara's wardrobe was clearly very different to everyone else's, and Toccara noticed this herself, and she mentioned it because she's a strong woman who knows that she has an opinion, and she deserves to voice it.
Yeah.
And of course, this led to a little bit of a standoff with the stylist, which resulted in her being retaliated against in a very cruel way. And I am going to show you the clip of this interaction. And just a warning, there is for loud sounds and a screaming sound towards the end of the clip. I'm going to try and try and reduce the scream, but just let you know that that's coming.
I'm ready, I think. I'm not, but yeah.
12, or is it really a 14?
I feel like I got a bowling alley.
No, you don't.
I don't know why all the girls were so nice looking, and here I am looking like I work at Home Depot.
You have to understand too, Toccara, if you were to do catalogs, for plus size models and stuff like that.
This is high fashion. This is not catalog. I gotta prove myself to the high fashion.
Do you think that I'm going to be able to get a rack like this loaded with clothes in your size?
You can't find something in my size, so I'm supposed to feel bad because
you're taking everything as a negative. I don't think that you realize how this whole modeling thing works. There's like no appreciation. All right, you got pinched. Oh my God.
I know, oh my God.
Let me see.
That was loud.
Am I supposed to feel bad? No. Like, well, yes, Toccara, apparently you're supposed to feel bad because that's the show's MO.
I'm sorry. So they're trying to convince us that there are no clothes in her size. Is that what we're trying to be convinced of? That they can't get a rack of clothes that fucking fit this person who's clearly very straight sized?
No, they can't get a clothes of like high fashion stuff.
Fucking bullshit.
Right? And also, so because you criticized that and we decided to order you even though they have all of their measurements.
It looks like a prison suit.
And then they're pinning it as well. Like, okay. And then
so it doesn't fit her because it's too big.
And then I'm sorry, this is an allegation, sure, but I find it very hard to believe that was not intentional, her being pinned.
Oh, absolutely. It was intentional. Absolutely it was.
And of course, no, there was no apology or anything.
Because did you see old Bud's face, like, watching it, trying to film it? Like, how dare she scream because she was fucking poked with a fucking pin? Are you joking?
Yeah. Here's my question. Why can't you have clothes in her size? You literally cast her. Why does she not have clothes?
But also, like, you're supposedly in the fashion industry and you can't source clothing?
Okay.
You're bad at your job.
All right. Lived experience take here. Not from an eating disorder perspective, from an advertising person. Hello. I have done so many friggin' shoots, right? We make sure that not only we cast the talent, we have all of the talent's measurements. We make sure all of the talent goes to the wardrobe and has all of their stuff they try on, and all the wardrobe has to get approved. In fact, there's usually a fitting beforehand and there are always options.
Yep.
Like,
you cannot tell me this wasn't a setup.
Of course it was, because it's not a real show. It's not reality. Despite them saying that it is.
And do you think that this again is another instant of Tara being like, well, I was fucking traumatized when I was becoming a model. And so because God forbid you aren't, fucking a child size, we need to traumatize you for this, because if you're going to make it as a plus size model, you must be traumatized in the process like I was.
I'm so glad you said this, because I wasn't going to mention it, it wasn't written down, but this is just another core memory that it was unlocked. In this same cycle 3, there was a runway challenge or a judging challenge where all the girls were asked to be put on like this teeny tiny like pink cheap stretchy dress. And they were all given high heels, 2 sizes too small. And they were told to give them a fiercest runway walk. And then Tyra says, this is based on a real scenario, because I remember in the Victoria's Secret fashion show, I was given a size 7 shoe and I'm a size 10. And I was told to go out there and work it. So she's saying, here are all of the horrible things that I had to do and had to go through. And now I'm inflicting them on you.
This is fucking horrific. Okay, cool.
Oh God, we're not even at the bad part, honey. So brace yourself. This is also the same week that all of the models had to go on like go-sees with a bunch of different designers that made the point of not having things in her size, or things that just they were really loose fitting and all of that. Meanwhile, designer clothes in her size, by the way, as well. There were things for her to wear. So you can get a rack of clothes, Miss Stylist.
Oh my God. Again, you're bad at your freaking job. That's your job.
Some of the designers were also being like, oh, she would be a very successful model for those looking for that type of girl. Subtle. And like, again, all of the show is fake. Despite being pitched as reality. Like, what show, which is fake, doesn't have clothes to fit their cast member that they cast themselves? This was entirely engineered to make Toccara feel bad and to try and break her spirit. And it worked to a degree. Because later on in this episode, you see Toccara like on the shoot, crying and breaking down. It's one of the very few moments where she's quite emotional and vulnerable. And she's quoted as saying like, while crying, like, I'm trying to stay positive, but it's hard and it hurts. And she also admitted that the whole interaction made her feel bad and ashamed.
Of course it did. It was designed to be that way.
Exactly. And that same week, she was in the bottom 2, along with a contestant called Cassie. And, oh, friends, if you remember her, we will be getting there shortly. But Toccara was saved to be bullied for another week. And the next week, Toccara was filmed. I will never let it break my spirit. But, of course, the storyline had other ideas. So apparently,
break her spirit.
The storyline was that Tocara's bubbly and bright personality was fading and she was losing her sparkle. Oh no. Oh yeah, body shaming will do that to you. But that's also not what happens. Because contestants, like apparently she was totally fine. According to all the other contestants in the crew, She was super bubbly right up until she was eliminated, which was in episode 8.
The edit is the extra
character in the room.
Character in the room.
Credit to Luxaria, because she's the one who I got that from. So yes. And of course, this is, like you said, it was one bad day. As soon as like the slightest bit of that sparkly twinkle that you were cast for wanes, you're gone. You're bye-bye. See you later. So
fucking military tactics, I'm telling you.
After posing with a literal tarantula on her face, she was given the boot because she had, quote, lost her sparkle.
She had a tarantula on her face?
Yeah, that was the challenge for that week's photo shoot, was to pose with a tarantula.
On her face?
Well, yeah, she had like they was put on their face and their hands and stuff. And yes, one of the contestants had a massive phobia of spiders and she freaked the hell out. And no, she wasn't called, and she had the most amazing photograph. One of the most amazing photographs I've ever seen. Eva.
Get absolutely fucked. Because I'm sorry, you can use a fake fucking tarantula.
Yeah. But no, it was the most gorgeous photo. And then Eva, who had this meltdown, the phobia of spiders, she wasn't even called out first because you made such a scene at the photo shoot. And like, she persisted and she did it. So like, and arachnophobia is a totally real phobia, so get over yourself. Anyway, that wasn't even the side quest that we're going down.
Yeah, cool.
So yes, even after posing with a live spider on her face, she was told like, oh, well, you've lost your sparkle. So they wanted you to see, oh, this vivacious person couldn't hack it with the horrendous criticism that we inflicted on her. So we had to cut her.
Cannot hack it. If this person can't hack it in this world, they're not going to hack it in the modelling world.
Exactly.
How are they going to survive if they can't survive here?
Or maybe it was because Tyra and the producers were frustrated that Toccara wouldn't bend to the will of production, showing that her self-esteem couldn't be destroyed, so they turfed her out.
Oh, absolutely.
But also there was speculation, and this is just speculation, on an interview with YouTuber Oliver Twixt, who interviewed a whole bunch of the contestants during 2020. And this is just speculation, like I said, that Toccara was eliminated because because in the next episode, the remaining contestants would be flown to Tokyo on their international portion of the trip, and they were not sure if they would actually be able to find plus-size clothes for Toccara in Japan.
No fucking shit. Yeah, that's not fucking intentional.
Yeah, who knows? It should also be said that Toccara has never said a bad word about Tyra. She was actually shocked about the documentary and everything in it. And she said, quote, while I didn't experience that, two things can be true at once. And I feel devastated for my former contestants that they experienced that, end quote. Love a stan who believes two things can be true at once. She's also, and sometimes you like to hear about how people go after the show.
I love to hear that she's okay, hopefully.
She is also one of the mainstream media's like most successful plus size models in America. And so she did very well for herself once the show left. Yeah, she did very, very well. And she's still beloved, and she's, just such a gem. Justice for Toccara. But the person who was the most successful plus size model by ANTM standards was Whitney Thompson. Whitney was the first and only plus size winner of America's Next Top Model, and she competed in cycle 10.
Cycle 10, okay.
So full disclosure, after cycle 9, I switched off. So I've never seen cycle 10, but I've seen plenty of interviews with Whitney, and I've obviously watched all the documentaries, but just letting you know that my personal knowledge of this cycle is very limited. But often across cycles, it was kind of clear or suggestive of who might be favored to win that cycle, of course, or someone who was clearly constantly excelling and receiving praise. And like you said, that person has a bad day, but they were saved because obviously
they added as an extra character in the room.
And also you have like these actual prizes like modeling agencies and CoverGirl who they essentially are given a brand deal with this company. So they absolutely have a say in who kind of gets to the final 3 and all of that. But
of course, apparently, it's their brands. Yeah.
Apparently Tyra gets the final say, but it's like, yeah, but again, producers could also just rescind the prize winnings at any time, as we talked about last episode.
It's just wild, but yeah, cool.
From what I've read, cycle 10, and I've got a lot of this from Jennifer Posner's book, Reality Bites Back. Cycle 10 didn't have that kind of inkling with Whitney, whereas like kind of like edge that she was going to win. And again, from what I've read, she was in the bottom 2 4 times, which is the most of any future winner She was only called first once. So obviously when they get handed their photo, it's in order of who's done the best and who is obviously eliminated.
Yeah, okay, yep.
And also she was criticized for being like too pageanty and fake throughout the entire competition. And Tyra has a very big thing about, beauty pageants is not modeling. She's very protective about what's considered modeling and what's not. Anyone who is familiar with Tyra law knows that she has a big issue with sex work and stripping in particular.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
And she gets very offended when people say that that's modeling.
Oh, okay.
Like OnlyFans stuff and like cam girls and things like that. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
gatekeeping, but okay. Yeah.
That is the whole theme of this whole show. It's just gatekeeping. Oh my God.
Who made Tara, like fucking Tara? Tyra the god. Like who died and made Tyra the...
She did.
Like the fucking god
She
of the world.
She created this playground.
It's very god complex, yeah.
And she decides who gets to play in it.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Allegedly.
Bully.
Gotta say allegedly.
Cool.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
Everywhere.
Yes. Of course. Allegedly.
So, regardless for her receiving all of this criticism, she was named the Cycle 10 winner and was the first ever plus-size winner. Whitney would also claim that she regularly did not have clothes that would fit her. She said this in the Netflix documentary Reality Check. Quote, they would have to cut open the back and clamp it just to make you feel, and it just made you feel like shit, not to be the right size, and it was just demeaning.
Of course.
She said they could have easily gotten clothes that were in my size, but it was a choice that they made, and I just dealt with it because if they see a weakness, then you're gone. And honestly, I agree because they were cast on this show. They had all of the models' measurements, but they chose not to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, look what happened when Toccara spoke out about it. She was gone the next week. Like, it was literally just designed to try and break their spirits and to prove a point that you don't belong in the industry.
Military tactics.
And she said that she tried not to let it bother her, but she would admit that she took crying in the shower every day.
Oh, darling.
So much for those beauty standards that you were trying to break down, Tyra. But also, you're using these people as ignition for the trailblazer that you want to be.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, but look what I did. Look at me. I'm so fucking progressive.
Yeah, but hey, she won. She made history. Hooray for Whitney, but importantly, hooray for Tyra. Happy ending, right? Wrong.
I'm going to say, what happens here, Ash? Like, you're building this up. I need to know.
As part of her win, she won a modelling contract with Elite Model Management, which, if you remember, was the first agency that Tyra signed with. The only problem was, at the time, Elite did not have a plus-size division and didn't know what to do with her.
Oh, great. Okay.
Even throughout the show, Whitney was seen meeting with designers and casting agents who told her that she was the bigger size and they'd be willing to send down the runway. So keep in mind, it took 10 cycles for America's Next Top Model to crown a plus-size winner. Apologies for the plane. So for me, between production not having her size, the quote-unquote poor performance throughout, and the lack of opportunity that seemingly awaited her at the agency that she was officially signed to at the end of the show, it seems to me, not to shade Whitney or any of her success or her talent or her beauty or anything, that her win does seem to be more of a gesture to pander to, the criticism of Tyra that had been for the last decade.
Yeah.
Directed at her for only crowning tiny women who fit within the narrow perceptions of beauty that she herself was claiming to widen with the show.
And so she was sort of like, but look what I can do. Like, look, I've done it. Look, I've ticked a box here, but I'm not actually going to follow through.
Exactly.
I've still set her up for failure. I still haven't, I'm still in a way shaming her. Like, I'm still, like I've ticked a box. Done. Obligation over.
Exactly. So Tyra also made the point after Whitney's win to boast about how much good it would do for the young girls to see, quote, the first girl with some booty, end quote, which is like way to just reduce all like plus size to just having hips. But yeah, having her being hailed as the winner, as if this one plus size winner would fix all the damage that had been done before that, but sure.
Yeah, cool.
Seemingly the message was, you can succeed despite your body, not because it deserves space. And it's clear that plus-size models had to try twice as hard to compete and that they could not have an off day.
And it's still an issue.
Of course it is. Of course. I honestly think that Tyra.
Sorry, just that quote. Say that quote again. Despite your body.
Oh no, this was just something that I've sort of drawn.
But like say it again because I just think it's so apt. Like it's like in a nutshell.
Yeah, like America's Next Top Model sent the message that you can succeed despite your body and not because it deserves space in the industry.
Which, again, is something that I think is so apt and we can apply to everyday life today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you go onto social media and you see it all the time. It's like, like you don't deserve to take up the space, but good on you.
Going to the gym. Oh, you're succeeding in.
You're being a good fat person.
You're awarded the good fat medal today. It's like, no, not because they literally just deserve a space that they can just go and move their body for whatever reason.
But we will criticize companies for making clothes your size to go to the gym with. We will criticize those people. We don't want to see you in gym clothes.
Oh, we definitely don't want to see like mannequins of fat bodies. Like, no.
We don't want to see you in the gym though either. I don't want to be looking at you in the gym. But good job. Good on you for trying to lose weight. Not trying to lose weight. Actually, maybe I just like movement.
Yeah, exactly. It is just exactly the same today as it was back then. So, hey, maybe we didn't change those standards of beauty that you think, Tyra. So they never crowned another plus size winner again. And
well, they ticked a box. Why did they need to?
Exactly. It's like, hey, we've done it now. Look how far we've come. Yay, we don't have to do that again. And that, again, it just feels a bit like a token. I'm not shading Whitney or anything, but, you know.
No, absolutely. Probably so deserving of the win, but like it's upsetting because it's like she wouldn't have got the follow through.
1 out of 24 is not good odds.
No, it's a tick box.
The consistent choice.
See, we did it. They're here.
The consistent choice of skinny winners sends the message that you can only be successful if you are thin.
Absolutely.
And one person does not change that.
No,
and I don't think if it's too much of a stretch to say that while we are told to like love our bodies the way that they are and our differences and our flaws make us beautiful, when you sandwich that in between fat shaming and making plus size models like the butt of a joke, you're still telling us by showing us that we should only love our bodies if they're thin.
You don't get to just say things without follow through. It's the same thing as having this conversation with someone today, how it's, you know, it's all good and well to be like, I'm trauma informed. And it's another thing to be trauma informed. So it's another thing to like, I'm not fat phobic. You can say, anyone can say that. Mm-hmm. But it's another thing entirely to actually follow through with that.
It's kind of like saying sorry. Like anyone can say they're sorry, but
oh, totally.
The best apology is changed behavior.
Yeah.
But of course, Tyra's done neither. So there's that.
And this is the thing, like anyone can fucking say anything they like. It doesn't matter. Like there's like essentially no fucking check-in on that, right? You can say whatever the fuck you like.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
The other thing to note was the mistreatment of plus size models as a genuine competitive sector of the modeling industry. So like they were not represented adequately. So for example, there was towards the end of the show's run, there was like a petite cycle where they cast no one no one taller than 5'7", which is like, there is no market really for like, unless you're shooting for things like
not
ASOS.
Runway, right?
Yeah. Or like ASOS small or like, I guess now like a lot
ASOS
of sort of
petite or yeah.
But even then, like a lot of sort of models I see when you're like, so, oh, what size is the model wearing? Which is the constant thing I'm looking for pants because like, oh, this model's 5'6", and you see like the jeans hems like right at their ankles. It's like, cool, I'm not even going to bother.
Totally.
So I see a lot
relate, but totally.
Like I see a lot of models of that size there. But I mean, again, it's not the high fashion things and all of that.
No.
Also later on, there was a mixed gender cycle. There was a British invasion cycle where they had like British models with American models.
It's one of these things. They're just like, we're getting a bit boring. How can we make this exciting again?
Legit, you can only like 24 times you've seen like when you've seen like
it's
4
so
cycles,
Survivor-esque.
It's totally it's totally Survivor.
It is Survivor, but like just in the like, oh, how can we make this season interesting? How can we get people watching this season?
Exactly.
And how shocking can we make this?
And despite all of that, there was never a plus size cycle. And in her defense, apparently Tyra was pushing for a plus size cycle, but it was always shot down by the network. Although there are other rumors out there that said that she just gave Whitney the win in cycle 10, so she didn't have to do one and be like, cool, I'm done. But that's all hearsay. Who knows? I think it might be a bit of both. I think maybe Tyra may have intended to have a...
Truth always stays somewhere in the middle, doesn't it? Like it's never either or. It's always somewhere in the middle.
Tyra may have intended to have had a plus size cycle, but, you know, I think we know not to put too much weight on Tyra's intentions.
Well, I was going to say, and maybe she mentioned it and, you know, but I'm sure she didn't fight that hard for it.
Right.
Otherwise it would have happened.
The next thing that we're going to move on to is the plus size model who has probably been the most outspoken since the show's airing and since the expiry of the NDAs, which is Sarah Hartshorn. Now, I mentioned her in the last episode. She appeared on Cycle 9 and has since written a book, You Want to Be on Top, a memoir of makeovers, manipulation, and not becoming America's Next Top Model. I've read it. It's great. She voices the audiobook if you're so inclined. Quick and easy read. It's very insightful, also very frustrating, but not through any fault of Sarah's. So she kind of goes into a lot of the tactics that were used against her to weaponize her weight as the only plus size contestant. Now, again, I want to reinforce, she was not plus size.
Cool, yeah.
I'm going to send you a photo.
I'm so excited.
I bet you're not.
Oh, it's just like believe anything, really, honestly, like at this point.
So that's Sarah Hartshorn.
Okay.
Yeah. The only plus size contestant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No notes. Okay. Yeah. Everyone knows what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I don't need to say it.
Yeah. So while I was reading the book, there were multiple times where I just wanted to say out loud, like, oh my God, shut the hell up, leave her alone. Like, they constantly bug her about what she thought about her body. When she got her makeover, it was, are you afraid that your short haircut is going to make you look masculine? Are you afraid your haircut is going to make you look more plus size? And Sarah literally said,
why did they cut her hair?
Because they wanted to make her insecure.
Yeah.
And Sarah said, like, I kind of am now.
Yeah. Thanks.
At the photo shoots, they would say, are you worried about showing so much skin? Are you worried about sharing your belly? There was a challenge where they had to go on like an ice rink and like a ice skating guy had to like lift them up or something. Again, so realistic. The producers said, like, are you worried that the skater isn't going to be able to lift you? What if he drops and you fall?
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think a skater like any size would be able to like lift her. Like, are you for fucking real? Anyway,
right?
Yeah, continue.
They would also say like, oh, is it hard seeing all the other girls be so small and then you have to go on after them, like referring to the photo shoots?
Yeah.
And then, of course, things about food. Are you trying to be thin like the other girls? Are you going on a diet? Do the other girls' bodies make you feel bad about yours? Would you say you hate your body? And honestly, it got so frustrating to read, almost to the point where I had to stop because like I could only imagine how she felt living it, like constantly for weeks. And Sarah has said in interviews and in her books, like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but like having negative self-thoughts is traumatic enough. Now imagine someone literally saying these thoughts out loud and back to you.
Oh, totally. Well, it's like you know, so much of trauma work that we do, right? Like,
yeah. I don't need to tell anyone listening to this podcast that that's horrible.
It's like these thoughts didn't come from nowhere. Yeah, these thoughts didn't come from nowhere. They existed. They've been verbalized, so that's why they're in their head. So it's not like you're just having these random thoughts. They've come from somewhere. Yeah.
And even if they don't come from somewhere, imagine someone parroting them back to you. Like, imagine if someone hasn't told you this. Like, if no one's told you that, it's like, yeah, you come up with it yourself. Like, you already hear it constantly.
Yeah, yeah.
The one thing that she'd started doing when all the questions got too much, which I absolutely love her for, she started answering their questions when she wanted to shut everything down with shark facts and trivia. Like, did you know that sharks have 8 senses? I love it. No notes. 10 out of 10, use that in real life.
That's so good.
Find as many shark facts as you can. Do it. Another key part of Sarah's storyline was that as a smaller plus size model, she was required to basically stay that size at all times. Otherwise, it was straight to the gulag. But the judges like obviously kept claiming that she lost weight. Towards the middle of the season, like 3 or 4 episodes deep, every judging, Sarah would be asked if she's losing weight. Which is such, like, don't do that. Like, it's so triggering to ask someone, saying that she's disappearing before their eyes. And eventually this was her downfall, quote unquote. And she was eliminated for, quote, losing weight and not fitting into the typical plus size market. Remember when I said that Tyrus would say, you need to gain a bunch of weight or lose it? Because right now you're in between, which is cruelly ironic given how the show seemed to praise and favor and reward those who perfectly meet the ideal model size, even though that didn't happen very often.
Yeah.
we're really breaking those beauty standards yet again. The truth is, according to Sarah, who I believe when she says this, she had only lost 1 pound. And she knows this because A, she was weighing herself every day and night, and the number was the same from the start right to her elimination. And B, Sarah was dealing with an eating disorder, and at least disordered eating and the entire time. And if she was losing weight, she absolutely would have known about it, probably in a very intimate detail. She also, along with the rest of contestants, were only given a $34 a day as a stipend for all of their food. Breakfast,
$34
a day.
Okay.
And this was to cover their breakfast, the occasional lunch and dinner. And keep in mind that the contestants were not paid anything else for the show, and they weren't working. So $34 a day.
$34 a day.
That was it.
I just don't understand how that's possible. Like, how did they actually, how? Like, did they not have rent and mortgages or whatever? I don't know. But
you have to want it enough.
Okay.
So a lot of these people were in crazy amounts of debt, or they just wanted to break it and they had that $100,000 contract luring them in.
Holy shit.
But again, we'll get into in the next episode about some of the shady tactics of the show in terms of especially with the money situation as well.
Yeah.
But now we move into the portion of the show where Sarah was not the only contestant to have an eating disorder. In fact, she was one of many. And of course, eating disorders were rife amongst the show's contestants. Shocker. So more unfortunate is the contestant who had their eating disorder play out and be broadcast across global television to be displayed on the internet for decades to come.
Fuck me.
So yes, here we're moving into the portion of the episode that talks about actual eating disorders. So if you need to skip ahead to the next chapter, please do so. Look, it's going to be rough. Apologies.
Yeah.
I had a really hard time doing this. Not in a triggering way, but I'm just my heart hurt. But also reliving some core memories from watching this. But I remember exactly
you
where
would
I
have been watching it. Yeah.
So I will try my best to give you heads up and a warning before some gnarly stuff. I'm not going to go into too much crazy, really horrible detail, but I need to give this story justice because I've only really heard one person really talk about it, in detail, and that was The Curse of America's Next Top Model, the podcast. I mentioned that before. But again, I'm giving more detail to this story than anything else that I've found. So I'm doing my best. And I think it deserves to be said.
And I'm really interested as well, Ash, obviously, because you've watched this, I would love to hear, obviously, go forth and conquer. But as in, I would really love to hear, after you've said this bit, I'd really love to hear if you can remember how it made you feel at the time.
I go through that.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
So in a twist absolutely no one saw coming, they used eating disorders as a storyline plot, which was more about creating drama and a spectacle and a platform to show just how much Tyra really cares, and one that was extremely light on support or any kind of showcasing or warnings of the harms or risks of eating disorders in the modeling industry. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Lots of sighing for self-regulation. Okay.
Cool.
Unfortunately, anyone who watched cycle 3 of America's Next Top Model, or maybe you don't remember because you've blocked that from your memory.
Yeah, I hope no one watched it, but yeah.
You may remember Cassie Grisham. So Cassie was an 18-year-old from Oklahoma when she went on to the show.
18 years old. Oof.
And from a young age, she wanted to be a model. It was her dream. I'll show you a quick picture of Cassie just to give you an idea. Beautiful girl.
Yeah. Very objectively beautiful.
Yes.
In every possible way.
Striking. All of that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, and a trigger warning for eating disorder talk here. Unfortunately, she felt a tremendous pressure to be skinny and slender, which she, as you have just seen, she absolutely already was, which turned into a fixation on her weight, constantly restricting. And then she admitted on screen on this show to millions of people.
Wincing. Yep.
She admitted on screen to having an eating disorder and that she had practiced self-induced vomiting in the past.
Okay.
Why she was cast on the show, I do not know. Because that, again, I'll get into that. So this was introduced for Cassie as early as episode 3. And we were led to believe that this was introduced by Cassie telling another contestant, Amanda, about it while at a photo shoot. There was no additional context that was presented here. It was just kind of presented almost midway through the conversation. And it kind of looks like they were like having a conversation while mic'd up. And then like this cameraman's like kind of running over to film their conversation because they're hearing this on the sound. And like, quick, go and get that shot. I'm just speculating. That's how it's presented, watching it back. And Cassie essentially says, quote, "I don't want to be disqualified because I have an eating disorder." And then there's a cut in her audio when she said, "That's okay," end quote. And Amanda replies in like a soft, caring, like, "No, it's not." Like, Amanda's like trying to like laugh it off. I'm like, "Honey, it's not okay. Like, don't say it's okay. It's because it's not." And I understand where Amanda's coming from. It's like, "No, it's not okay. It's kind of really serious." Okay. And then Cassie says, "Just don't let it get around." And then next thing you know,
everyone knows. Everyone
at the shoot knows about it and is talking about it.
Of course they do. Of course they do. Also, cameras everywhere, I guess. But yeah.
And you're also mic'd up constantly. So, I mean, I don't, this is how it was presented. Like, oh, this was a betrayal, right? So trigger warning again for self-induced vomiting. When we're then shown Cassie emerging from the bathroom saying, "Oh, don't go in there. I was feeling sick to my stomach," which is then followed by a bunch of girls standing around.
Jesus Christ.
Inspecting the smell of the bathroom, saying they timed how long she was in there, implying that Cassie was sick in the bathroom. Now, I don't know the series of events of how this happened on the day. Of course, there's Franken editing because you're seeing people between having their hair done and not had their hair done or had their makeup done and all of that. So I think they saw her come from the bathroom and say she was sick, and then Amanda and Cassie were shown later talking about that, "Oh, I have an eating disorder." But they've obviously spliced it. It's like Cassie's told this and now she's like putting it on.
Yeah, okay. Fuck me.
That's kind of, or like making a point of doing it at the shoot, which I don't, So this is like, what follows is like this horrible, like gossipy, bitchy segment of all of the girls saying how horrible an eating disorder is, how it's destroying you, spliced with Cassie talking about how she's clearly struggling with this and talking about how she wants to be a model more than anything and that she's going to keep kind of doing it as long as she wants to be a model. Also, Cassie said on the show that she doesn't consider herself to be bulimic because she doesn't throw up after everything she eats and she doesn't do it regularly. Now,
okay.
Some of the other contestants in their sort of confessionals or like on-screen segments, they were making some points that I'm just like, I kind of see where you're coming from, like seeming to try and communicate that, no, this is serious. It doesn't really matter how often you do it or if you're restricting, it's still an eating disorder.
Yeah.
Oh, it sends a message to young girls that if you want to be a model, then that's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah.
But
you're televising it and broadcasting it and turning it into entertainment and gossip.
Exactly. And it's exploitation for good TV rather than setting up a good example or getting her help. And it's also spliced with like them all like gossiping behind her back and being like, oh, everyone's talking about this. It's not done as like a matter of concern. It's done as like
it's entertainment shock value.
And then the story gets twisted that Amanda, the person who Cassie told, is in the wrong because she told another person and then spread it to everyone. And now it's being used for gossip because everyone's talking about it behind Cassie's back. And Amanda's a horrible person who's a backstabber and she can't be trusted.
Hey, Tyra, I have questions.
Yeah,
How
me
about you
too.
fucking step in, shut it down, get the poor girl some help, take it away from everyone's fucking lips. Shut this down.
Okay, you're not going to like what's happening next then.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go.
So after Amanda was kind of like framed as like, oh, she's just using this to get ahead in terms of like, oh, she's like telling all of these secrets so that she can use people's weaknesses, to the point where the episode was called The Girl Everyone Thinks is a Backstabber, by the way, about Amanda, not Cassie.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And like, now I'm sympathetic to Amanda because yes, she was told by Cassie, like, don't let it get around.
Yeah. But I'm sure she was set up as well. But yeah.
But also Amanda was only 24 at the time. And also she was like a young mother. So she had a child that she had like at home. So I understand maybe she's like, oh, coming from a mother's perspective, like, oh, I would want to know. And like,
like, who did she tell? Who, like, they all mic'd up. So production heard about it, regardless of whether she told. Maybe she didn't tell anyone. Or maybe she was also bullied into telling, like, who the fuck knows at this point?
Even if that wasn't
she may
the
have
case.
been like held at gunpoint for all I know.
even if that was the case, maybe Amanda was like, she's already under a really stressful environment. Hey, this poor girl is confiding in me. She's clearly distressed and this is really serious and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, like help.
Like maybe like this is Cassie like trying to reach out and tell somebody. But then of course, all of this gets used against Cassie in the end.
Of course, yes. I'm
But
sure
also,
it does.
And like you're saying, when you're all mic'd up, assume that nothing is a secret. And of course, Cassie would have known this.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's like, oh, this is a secret. Now everyone knows.
And now Amanda's told everyone,
Also, they would have known about this ahead of time because they do really extensive psych evaluations on all of the contestants before they are cast.
Of course they do.
More on that in part 3. So Cassie asks the other girls to stop talking about it because fair. But then it's obviously used as Cassie's storyline pretty much throughout her time on the show. And I'm sure your first instinct, like you said, hey, maybe let's pull this girl out and get her some help. You know, let's keep her in this really
easy. Yeah.
Let's keep her in this high stress environment and put her in situations where she will face harsh critique of her body and looks throughout. And hey, let's keep this poor girl on our modeling show to platform anyone who's felt that restricting and purging was a way to achieve the perfect body ideal. Let's keep that on, like, which is already a large warning sign when it comes to eating disorders already. But like, you know, I'm not blaming her by any means, but let's maybe not platform her or broadcast her or keep this as a storyline and get us some fucking help.
Because I'm sure that they thought that her body was great because it met their ideals. No?
Hold that thought.
Okay. All right, cool.
So you might be thinking, especially if you remember this episode, but Ash, Tyra did get like offer help because yes, in episode 6, Tyra's version of help was bringing in a plus size model, Kate Dillon, who had struggled previously with an eating disorder, who when she tried to stay thin enough for Paris runways and then gained a bunch of weight and became a plus size model, who essentially gives the advice that if you feel the need that you have to starve yourself, then quote, maybe this isn't the right career for you.
Oh, great. That's helpful.
And then a nutritionist for a good 10-minute heart-to-heart about all of the importance of a balanced diet and eating well. That'll do. That's good enough, right?
Yeah, tick the box. Cool.
Yeah. So maybe you also might be thinking, well, maybe Tyra didn't know.
I don't think anyone's thinking that, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Lol. So she's an executive producer, so of course she knew. But also Cassie requested a one-on-one with Tyra, Kate, and this nutritionist where she divulged her obsession with her weight, her purging behaviors in the past, and her drive to be skinny and how being plus size is just not for her. Which is then cut with while she's voicing that of like, I know there are plus size models out there, but it's not for me. While they show a photo of Toccara or like a slow like intercut thing of Toccara, I'm like, that's nice. So she tells them all of this, right? And the nutritionist, in her favor, says, quote, I get really nervous when I hear you have thrown up in the past, and we should look at you seeing someone because it can get out of control, end quote. Then Tyra chimes in and says, yeah, especially in this high-stress competition with all the critique. Yeah, if only you were in a position to do something about that, Tyra.
Literally. Like, literally.
Cassie pretty much says, which breaks my fucking heart, man, I'm not going to talk to someone because they don't really understand what I'm going through, and you can tell me not to do this all you want, but if I'm going to do it, then I'm not going to be helped. And essentially saying no one really understands what I'm going through, and this is what I want so bad. And like, I'm not like, she's just so, you could tell she's torn though, because she's also like obviously vocalizing it. And then it cuts to her storming out of the room. Apparently, we have no other context for what happened, but Callie, do you want to know what was said?
I don't.
After she left the room, what these 3 professionals said to each other?
Please do. I don't, but please tell me anyway.
Yeah, that's how uncomfortable I feel right now.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to do this to you.
I'm sorry for what I'm about to inflict on you.
All right, here we go.
Here they are. Cool. Yeah.
So that's the plus size model on the right as well, Kate Dillon.
Yeah.
I wish she would have. People with eating disorders are hardcore.
Oh Lord.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all that was said. People with eating disorders are hardcore. Like, no shade to Kate Dillon. I'm sure she's nice, but what a fucking tasteless thing to say. Like, shaming her, and I know it's edited, but like, just turning Cassie into this like spectacle. But don't worry, Tyra made sure she looked good coming out of that. Like, oh, I really wish she'd opened that more.
I have nothing to say.
That was it. That was all. Like, Tyra could have had the opportunity right then and there. Also, where's the nutritionist in any of this? Being like, yeah, hey, Tyra, I think maybe you should pull her out of this competition. It's a really bad idea.
This is dangerous.
No, maybe she did
dangerous
say that.
Not only for her, but everyone else involved, including the viewers.
Right? We never saw any of that. So maybe that was said. Who knows? But here was your opportunity,
really
Tyra.
Hardcore. Cool.
And
wow.
Then there's no word, again, about whether they offered her any kind of help.
Okay.
But then we see this go straight into a clip of Cassie speaking to her boyfriend on the phone saying,
yeah.
I think they want me to speak to someone about you know what.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is a known issue for her and her family back home. And she seems very resistant to help, despite the fact, like, she openly told Amanda about it. So maybe, like, she does want help, but I don't know. She's just scared.
But I mean,
so bad, and I feel for her.
Well, I mean, if I was her, like, I don't know, like, so they're going to go, I wouldn't want them to fucking give me help. Like, what help are they going to give me? And then they're going to what? Probably backstab me with it.
Exactly. And I mean,
like, as if you're going to trust them.
I mean, I do not blame Cassie in this whatsoever. Like, Tyra, as the executive producer,
this is so irresponsible.
She has a duty of care.
This is so irresponsible.
Tyra literally could have been seen as someone getting her help may have been like a condition of the show, right? Like, or offered her treatment afterwards. Or maybe she could have stepped in with and stop being so hateful towards all of the body shaming.
Oh, hey, doll, you know what? I will help you achieve your modelling career and dreams once you've got
But you need to go get help first. Yeah.
Go and get help. Go and get yourself well and then come back to me. And I'm more than happy. I see your potential. I'm more than happy to then help you achieve your career and dreams. Because she can do that.
Totally.
She doesn't have to become a model through this fucking show.
Which most of them never did.
No, of course not. Like, you can do that, Tyra. Do the fucking right thing here.
Yeah, of course there's no evidence of her doing that. You know what I wouldn't have done, though? I wouldn't have kept her around for another week and sent her out on go-sees with famous designers who criticized her body and even singled her out by measuring her on camera.
Holy shit.
When I tell you this fucking episode lives in my head for years, I am not kidding. You wanted to tell me how I felt? This is the core. This is basically the entire reason I wanted to do this deep dive, because this is vengeance for having me seen this part.
Fuck.
So the production made sure to pick out the most horrendous snide comments about Cassie's body and play them out on global TV. And remember, Cassie was so thin.
This is horrific.
So I'm not going to play the clip because I'm not subjecting anyone to that. But I'm going to talk about what was said. So feel free to skip ahead. Cassie first goes to designer Nanette Lepore, where we see her make comments to her offsider, say, she might be a bit hippie. She's not exactly a size 2, which is a size 8, by the way, for anyone in Australia. Yep, that face is how I feel. This was the episode after Tyra had this little intervention, by the way.
Okay.
Then the girls get to Mark Bauer. I get so angry about this scene. And I got even more angry about this scene when I watched it back, because I noticed something I had never noticed before. So Mark Bauer is showing, like, all of the girls are kind of at the place at the same time, right? They're all trying on their gowns, they're all trying on their dresses. They're all like beautiful luxury, like designer, like long gowns, evening wear. All of the other girls were wearing these flowing gowns, A-line, silky. None of them were wearing anything figure hugging, right?
Yeah, okay.
And then Mark Bauer decides that he's going to criticize the size of Cassie's hips, saying that they're too big for the dress and that I'm going to have you walk with the zipper open. How about you get her another fucking dress then, Mark Bauer? But no, we're going to put Cassie in this gown that has a thick a lace applique over the top, which clearly has no give or no stretch whatsoever, and has a side zipper, which, let's be honest, was probably not even her size to begin with, but let's just make a point of how she doesn't fit the fucking dress.
Oh my God.
Mark Bauer says her hip size is his main problem and he prefers a smaller hip. Then he pulls out a tape measure and says, I'm just going to measure your thighs. I prefer no more than X inches. And Cassie says, oh, I think I'm right at that. Only for him snarkily to say, yeah, you're at X inches, which is like 3 inches more than his preferred.
And I mean...
And he didn't do this to anyone else, just Cassie.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking like, was that all even correct? Like, was that fudged? Do you know what I mean? Like...
Maybe he was told to say that, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like maybe, like who actually knows whether what he measured was accurate?
Also, here's an idea, Mark.
Oh my God.
Here's an idea. If her hips are just too much for your preferred liking, don't book her then. Just don't book her.
Absolutely.
Or get her to wear another fucking dress. Like, if we're talking realistically here, and like as someone who has gone on like model castings and stuff, for most ghosties, you will never ever get feedback. You just won't get booked, right? You just don't get the job. It's kind of like a job interview. Like sometimes you just don't hear back.
What even purpose do they have of that? Like, there's no purpose to that.
Cruelty is the purpose.
Well, they've found her weak point that they can break her on.
And
oh my God, that is inhumane.
All of this was after Cassie told all of them about her eating disorder stuff. It is negligent. It's awful. Cassie said, like, I felt singled out. Like, yeah, no shit. And then Cassie goes on for the rest of the episode making comments about what Mark Bauer said. Like, even when she was in wardrobe at the photo shoot, like, oh, my hips are too big for Mark Bauer. I'm sure that lives with her to this day. And I can probably tell you why, because I remember this scene so clearly, because I remember when this aired. I'm not trying to make it about me, because like obviously this
but it's a really good
woman was traumatized,
no.
Right?
But it's a really good insight, because it's someone who is very susceptible, who has had an eating disorder sitting there. Like, it's interesting, I think, to hear your take on it, because I think very accurately in our first episode on this, you said that I think this contributed to my eating disorder, and fucking of course it has.
And this scene in particular, I remember this so clearly, because I remember when this aired, and just a trigger warning, I'm going to talk about some like thoughts that I was having. When Mark Bauer said, I preferred a smaller hip, and pulled out his tape measure and said, I prefer this size. Because he said the inches of how much he preferred.
Fuck. Oh, right. So it gave you a little like bit of a, oh, what am I?
I went and measured my own hips. And my hips were just that little bit bigger than Cassie's. And I remember that feeling so vividly.
How old were you then watching this?
14, 15.
Fuck. Yeah, okay, cool.
And what stemmed from that was
irresponsible.
For like a decade, like a constant preoccupation on my hips, my thighs, and how big they were. And like I was always like, oh, I'm a pear shape. And I made always like, oh, I can't wear this because I'm pear shaped. I can't wear this because I'm pear shaped. And I've got big thighs. I would regularly refer to myself as thunder thighs, despite the fact that I was freaking tiny.
It's just a reminder on every platform. And again, we keep bringing this back into like the climate that we're in today, just how responsible people have to be online in like all of these platforms, because people are watching and they are learning and they are picking up on things and they are so susceptible. And there's this big argument about like, but I'm not responsible for everyone's triggers. No, you're right. You're not. However, there are some things you can be responsible for, and these are absolutely one of those things.
I may not be responsible for, like, I can't be responsible for everyone else's triggers. I also don't have a reality TV show that I'm manipulating, frank and editing and putting it on for a global stage for millions of people to look at. These things are not the same.
No. But you like, we apply this to Instagram, right, though, right? Where we have recovery influencers, who are going through recovery for an eating disorder. We have, Instagram models who we talked about in the last episode. Like it's not a different conversation. Oh, yeah.
So this same episode, Cassie was eliminated.
Of course.
Maybe she just hadn't thrown up enough, which I'm sure proved her eating disorder right.
Yeah.
So she was said like, oh, she wasn't eliminated because of her eating or her eating disorder or anything like that. But the thing that was given to her was because she seemed sad and she didn't want to be there.
She seemed sad and didn't want to be there. Okay, cool.
And we all know that in America's Next Top Model universe, the worst sin that you can commit is looking like you don't want to be there and that you don't want it enough and that you're not grateful enough to Tyra for this opportunity. That is offensive to Tyra's sensibility. There are more than one occasion of Tyra eliminating people because They didn't want it enough. But the message here to me, when this whole storyline was about Cassie and her eating disorder and how she wanted to be thin so bad and she wanted to be a model and she thought this is what it took, right? The message was clear that even if you have an eating disorder, you are still allowed to compete, you're still allowed to advance on screen, and you're still beautiful, but you can't be sad because that will get rid of you.
It's just so irresponsible.
They tried to portray this, like the eating disorder, as dangerous with like some sort of the commentary, but to me it was more framed as like an eating disorder is an inconvenience rather than a huge life-altering problem.
I was going to say, it just from what you've explained, yeah, it just made it sound like it's, oh, fuck, now we have to deal with this. Like, you are wasting our time.
Or if you want to be a model, yeah, eating disorders, they might come up, but you could like...
They're just there, but can you just keep it to yourself? We don't have to deal with this next time. Just keep that one to yourself so that, you know, fuck me.
So Cassie didn't do any modeling after the show. We don't really know what happens to her. She got married like in 2016, I believe. We don't really know what happened in terms of her receiving help. She's been largely off the grid. But as we will get into in part 3, the contestants don't just go home after they've been eliminated.
Oh.
They get sequestered to a hotel room until the end of production for like spoilers and all of that, right? And confidentiality.
Oh, Jesus.
They're essentially in lockdown in a hotel room for weeks until it's over. So you just eliminated her, subjected her to all of this horrific body shaming, and so you then put her in a really dangerous position.
And then isolated her.
To live on $34 a day in a hotel room for weeks, which she's essentially alone, and she couldn't talk to anybody. Like, she couldn't have the phone to talk to her family or anything, because
that is so inhumane.
They were kept in the same hotel as like some other eliminated contestants. That you might be moved into a room with those people, but you're essentially sequestered with only like the show, the producers, and maybe some other contestants.
Holy shit.
So the last thing on Cassie, and this is someone that no one else has talked about, it was clear that maybe Tyra thought, ooh, this doesn't make me look good, right? Especially after all the ghosty stuff. So what does Tyra do? I bet you're wondering. The next episode of the America's Next Top Model, which doesn't do this very often, but it opens with Tyra, the episode after Cassie was eliminated. It opens with Tyra talking to her mum about what happened. And I'm going to go and play the clip, and I want your reaction.
Mom, there's a girl that we eliminated last night. Her name is Cassie. It was between Cassie and toccara. It was like a full figure girl.
How does that matter?
We were like going back and forth. It was really, really crazy. But in the end, Cassie was voted to go home. And it's kind of hard for me because she confessed to me that she's bulimic. And I tried to get her help.
No, you didn't.
You can tell me I shouldn't do that all you want, but if I feel like I'm still going to do it, I'm never going to be helped. And she was like, I don't like therapists, I don't want to go, and I'm not going to stop doing this, so it doesn't matter. And I just feel like, you know, like, what else can I do?
It's not like you threw her away, Tyra. You can only do so much to help a person that is basically lost. She has to find herself. She needs to do some soul searching. She needs to look within to find the strength to get the help that she needs. So it's okay.
How did Tyra just spin that whole thing to be about poor me? Mummy, poor me, I'm the victim here because I tried and she refused.
Oh, you did everything you
could.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I can give you a long list of things you could have done.
That clip is so hateful, and it was just designed to make Tyra look better.
Oh, and completely this is Cassie's fault. Cassie just needs to look within. This is Cassie's issue. You can't help someone that doesn't help themselves.
She's lost.
You have no responsibility here.
So for the people listening to this instead of watching it, that was Tyra and her mum sitting on a bed, like just having like a heart-to-heart from 3 different camera angles. And Tyra is obviously, her hair's like fully blown out and everything.
Looking like she's just woken up though. They've made her tried to make her look super, vulnerable.
And like, look, I'm not going to deny Tyra's emotion here because she like does have tears in her eyes and she's clearly upset. But if you were only in a position to do something. Yeah. And then we never hear about Cassie again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that made Tyra feel better.
Contestants weren't the only ones immune from having eating disorders from as storylines, by the way. And this is just a quick side one that I'm just going to whip through. It's like Cycle 7. They one of the photo shoots was designed as model stereotypes.
Oh.
So you had the dumb the dumb model, the drug addicted model, the casting couch, the diva. Yeah, I know. And then, of course, there's the anorexic and the bulimic model. And this was, and in this cycle, they had twins, and they were very small. So they had those two, the twins, one was anorexia and one was bulimia. And of course, it was depicted in the stereotypical fashion style of anorexia. You know, the long, sleek hair with the tape measure and the thinness. And the bulimia, it was in a bathroom with fake fucking vomit and food smeared all over their face. Eating disorders, but make it fashion.
That is so
like, seriously,
fucked up.
What is the point here?
That is so fucked up. That is... Holy shit. You can't even plead ignorance on that one.
All right, I'm going to speed through this next one because I've been carried away. We've been here forever and we still have more to go through. But the last main eating disorder storyline was London Levi Nance from Cycle 12. Again, I never watched this one, but from everything that I've read, this one is also just fully disgusting. So prior to her competing on America's Next Top Model, she was actually in a rehabilitation for anorexia nervosa and bulimia. That should have disqualified her from competing then and there. But no, you chose to include her and put her in danger.
I hate this.
The producers knew, the judges knew, everyone knew. The contestants knew. She would actually talk about her recovery to like her castmates, and none of that made it to air. We, the audience, never saw that she had previously been in recovery. Instead, as she began to gain weight throughout the cycle, they used it as a storyline. As someone who's just trying to break the binge purge cycle and the restriction from the eating disorder she's recovering from, gaining that kind of weight and establishing her relationship with food again. Yeah. Also, she said, I was trying to break the purging, so I was just eating. Sometimes I couldn't, I was eating too much. Her words, I was eating too much or binging, and I couldn't participate in those behaviors. So yeah, I gained weight. But also, she was just eating normally.
I hate this.
And then
they
started to call out that she was gaining weight. After a photo shoot, Jay Manuel, the creative director of the shoot, who at this point of the whole show had a falling out with Tyra, who was basically just a cast member or a prop at this point. He wasn't actually in charge of anything. But it didn't stop him from saying, quote, "I'm just seeing a huge change physically."
I cannot. I hate
I'm
this.
sure she's aware, Jay.
Why is it an issue?
She's just too small for a plus size and just needed to watch her eating habits. That was a direct quote. She needs to watch her eating habits. And she was berated for not taking care of herself, or being labeled unprofessional for not controlling her weight.
Not taking care of herself.
Mm-hmm. And in that same episode, she was eliminated. So London said in an interview with E! Online that her self-confidence was already shaky coming into Top Model. And then coming out of it, she said that the experience would likely make it harder for her to respect her body's nutritional needs while maintaining a healthy self-image.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
shocker.
I mean, point blank, she should just not have been allowed on the show. Whether London decided to go on the show regardless, I don't really care.
I mean, just judging you, they knew what they were going to turn this into, and they used it. Yeah. And that is just fucked up.
They framed her as being out of control, which is just horrific.
Oh, that is so harmful to eating disorder recovery and treatment.
So, like London, the eating disorder impacts did not stop after the cameras stopped rolling for many other contestants. Many of them say that they had the show had a lasting impact on their body, mental health, and yeah, some of them went on to develop eating disorders. I'm going to just rattle through roll call here, right? Shannon from Cycle 1, she was on the Netflix documentary. She revealed that she was struggling with an eating disorder before coming on the show. And if you remember, this is the cycle where they weighed everyone on camera.
Yeah, cool.
She said in an interview with People magazine, "I thought that in order to win, I needed to lose weight. I needed to be thinner." And then she struggled with an eating disorder on and off for years. Luckily, she's in a good place now. Also in Cycle 1, Giselle. She was the person who Tyra said on TV that she had a wide ass. She has wide ass. That was how it was said. And of course, Giselle was unaware of this comment until it was aired later.
Watched it.
She didn't have an eating disorder on the show, Giselle, but she did once she left. Here is Giselle Sampson speaking on the podcast, Curse of American Next Top Model, and trigger warning for body shaming, eating disorders, purging, restriction, and body dysmorphia. Skip ahead about a minute if you don't want to hear this.
I have never overcome my own body shame that I have from leaving the show. I mean, I went on, I thought I was in great shape because I was a ballet dancer. So I thought I was perfect besides my scoliosis, but she had made me feel so fine and confident about it in my interview or audition process that I didn't even think of it really too much during the show. But weighing us and having Robin there was like, why are we even doing this? Like, what's the point of weighing us if we have people of all shapes and sizes, but really it was just one person? That's like already like, oh my gosh, you know, what's wrong with how much I weigh? What's the need for this? And then you get into your head about that. And then saying that I had a white ass on national television, I didn't even hear her say that to my face. I saw it on the show, which is like a shock to me, which means now you're putting it into everybody's head all across America that I have a white ass. So clearly I'm not good enough. Clearly I can't be a model. So how do I get rid of this white ass? Oh, maybe I should stop eating. And then when I eat too much in one setting because I get so hungry, I'll devour it in one plate. Oh, now I feel guilty. How about I go throw that up now? And to this day, I obsess over food. Either I'm binging it and I just eat whatever I want, like, and then I'm like guilt ridden, or I'm like extreme fad dieting and like severely working out to make me feel like I have control over the situation. And yeah, and then my hips and ass, I guess to this day, I feel like it's ugly, disgusting. Yeah, that stuff stays with you.
It is heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
Also, cycle 1, Robin. Remember our friend Robin from earlier in the episode?
Yeah,
the one who was too fat to be a top model. Yeah. She did a recent interview with the Art and Tone Unfiltered podcast. She said that she never watched any of the other cycles of the show, but she struggled to watch the documentaries because she found them very triggering. And then after the show, she actually did a photo shoot with Janice Dickinson. I know, right? And she said that the hurt from the show and the body shaming manifested into an eating disorder. She said, quote, like that because I was not thin enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not enough at all. And then she said that she was rewarded for shrinking herself. And then the smaller she got, the more work she got. And then it became hard for her to eat at all. She looks like she's in a better space now. But I mean, we all like fucking trauma to the nth degree. Cycle 2, Joanna House, she was the winner. She'd actually lost a bunch of weight prior to going on the show and had struggled with her weight prior, but it was very clear that she, like on the show, that she had been through like a crazy crash diet to try and get down to the weight that she was. But she said that she was still very confident after all her, quote, hard work. Massive air quotes. But that didn't stop production zooming in on her love handles, quote unquote, and the judges commenting on her body constantly. And this was seen by Joanna again for the first time when she saw it air to millions around the world. She left the show determined to prove that she was more than just a pretty face, because she was like, oh, you just got such a beautiful face. And then she got an eating disorder as a result of that. Awful. In the E! Documentary, as well as on the Curse of American Next Top Model podcast, she said, quote, it was humiliating. So that kind of pushed me to get breast implants after the show. Yeah. End quote. She became obsessed with fixing her body and making sure that she was the perfect weight, quote unquote. Oh, darling. In her words, she developed an exercise disorder, and then trigger warning here, just about that. She said that she used to walk miles instead of taking the subway in New York, and that she said she would spend more and more time in the gym, and she became obsessed with logging every bit of food so that she could burn it off. And she said that gave her body dysmorphia. I would just say that she has an eating disorder, not an exercise disorder, but that's just me.
I was going to say that, but anyway.
She says she also stopped menstruating for 2 years, with the doctors giving her a big wake-up call when she said, if you keep going the way you are, you're at risk of infertility and never having children. And that really, really scared her. And she got really emotional in the documentaries about it. And she said she's only gotten over it recently, and it took a decade to heal from the damage of the show. Then we have Kenya, cycle 4. Remember Elephant Gate from last episode? Yeah. So she's spoken at length about how the years of since the show and to this day, she still lives with the trauma of her edit, and she finds it really hard to eat in public. And she has received countless messages from girls saying that they developed eating disorders because of her edit.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
And then in the Netflix documentary, Brie from cycle 9 said that there were a lot of eating disorders going on, and that it was the mentality that you would just do anything to get ahead. And these are just some of the ones that we know about.
Yeah, exactly right.
I want to make something very clear. Yes, the modeling industry is a toxic cesspool of body shaming, thinness, and is rife with eating disorders. And sure, Tyra did say that she wanted to showcase the reality of the modeling industry, something that I will keep saying is the only aspect of the show that's remotely realistic.
Yeah.
She wanted to show what it takes. Apparently it takes an eating disorder based on this edit.
What it takes?
This is apparently what she wants to show, right? Setting aside her intentions to change the way we see beauty.
And that's just hard work, and then you get to be successful.
Right. Like setting aside her intentions to change the way we see beauty, because I think after everything we've gone through, especially that is...
Throw it in the bin.
Throw it in the bin. I'm far less likely to believe anything that she'd said.
No.
But she said that like she's training these models and teaching them how to work in the industry. At no point does Tyra ever bring in a specialist to talk about eating disorders, how to reduce the risk, how to screen for them. Again, remember, this was her like
zero interest,
right?
Yeah.
If you want to show the reality, then let's talk about the reality of the risks, right?
Yeah.
She never...
Let's be responsible with it.
Yeah. She never talked about what's a contingency plan if things don't go well or if they need to intervene or anything. No. They just laid on the criticism, hoping to tear these girls down. And now you might say, oh, well, that's just how it is and not everyone's going to have an eating disorder.
But it's not how it is.
But it's also a stark omission when you have makeup artists coming to teach the girls how to put their own makeup, a stylist who'll teach them how to dress, a runway coach, an acting coach.
Oh yeah, they can get professionals in. Yeah,
they did all of that. They brought in these professionals to try and help them. So Tyra never really cared about making it a learning experience. She just wanted to think that she wanted to make sure that everyone didn't think that she had one. Because if you remember at the start, last episode.
She doesn't have an eating disorder,
And B, she wanted to be seen as calling out this stuff without any actual responsibility for changing it because she wanted to partake in the tearing people down.
It's all self-image,
I mean, there were points where she seemingly tried to address some of this backlash because there were cycles in this audition episode, which is always the first episode where they show like all the young hopefuls who... I remember 2 instances where she was like skinny shaming not that that's the same as fat shaming, but I'm just using those words.
Yeah.
Like to counterbalance the criticism, saying like, hey, we're not as bad. Like we're not doing this.
Yeah. Look at us. Tick a box.
Yeah, we don't want to like they're too thin for this show. Meanwhile, they're also casting people who were just as thin in later seasons.
Tick a box. Make it sound, trying to create a narrative.
There was one in particular of a girl called Amy from Cycle 3 auditions. She was very thin, but she said, like, I'm on weight gainers. It is genetic and I'm really self-conscious about how thin I am. And I'm doing everything that I can. And then Tyra says the most insufferable thing. She's like, quote, I eat barbecue ribs and that's what gave me this ass. Girl, you need some food. As a retort to like,
Christ.
Oh, I'm on weight gainers. It's like maybe she's seeing an actual dietitian to try and get her to gain weight. Because maybe there's something else going on, Tyra.
Fuck me. I hate Tyra so much.
Oh, it's so hard to put on weight, but it's easy for me.
Oh, God. Yeah, so it must be easy for everyone. Fuck me.
And then of course she, in the same contestant, Amy, she like showed her being like gossiped about by other contestants, like, oh, she's so disgusting. Like her bones are popping out. Like, fuck off.
Oh my God. And oh my God, irresponsible.
And like Tyra says, oh, I don't want to cast her because it would send the wrong message. Meanwhile.
Oh yeah, okay.
Meanwhile, again, in later seasons, she would cast people.
Everything we've spoken about. Yeah. Oh, fuck me.
I mean this when I say it. Like everything Tyra did as an executive producer and what was said on screen was calculated. And something...
Oh, 100%.
And not as,
absolutely. And I refuse to believe otherwise.
And this is something that Tyra has never lost when speaking about the show. She is so rehearsed. Yeah. She's such a PR machine.
Of course.
Like she's done so much media training. She's now void of a personality.
Yeah.
And... Oh my God.
I hate it here. Yeah.
I know that that's all a lot to take in.
It's all your fault, Ken Mock.
The eating disorder part is over. Let's take a breath. Let's take a breather. And this is where I'm going to leave us for part 2.
I look forward to part 3.
So In the next part, we're going to talk about the production tactics that really put into question the safety of some of the contestants, the control production had over them, how their bodily autonomy was questioned, the lasting impact on culture, Tyra Banks, why she did what she did, and the general response to all of this, and some final thoughts. But for now, we're going to leave it here.
Love you all.
Kelly, any parting thoughts?
Take care. I have nothing. I literally have nothing. I think you got all my reactions. I have nothing. I have nothing left.
And I would just like to
I'm depleted.
And I'd like to remind everyone, if you need resources or help, especially immediate help,
take care.
There's resources in the show notes. I apologize for we're going through this, but as we keep saying, we feel that this is necessary.
There's a purpose.
There's
a purpose.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it's not, it's our real world still. It's what is happening online. So please be aware. Yeah.
I apologize, because Tyra's certainly not going to. So I'm going to do it for her.
Yeah. Oh, yuck.
Let's go touch some grass.
Yeah, cool.
You've been listening to The Recovery Feed, hosted by Ash Myberg and Callie Cote. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at The Recovery Feed Pod, or via email at therecoveryfeedpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the show, thank you so much. You can do that at Buy Me a Coffee. It helps fund the running of this podcast to make sure we can keep bringing you episodes like this one. Extra information and resources are always available on our website, therecoveryfeed.com. And if you're so inclined, you can leave us a 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice. This podcast was recorded on the lands of the Gadigal and Gubbi Gubbi people. This podcast is general in nature and has not taken your personal circumstances or medical history into account. We are here to share our own experiences and the things that we have found helpful throughout our own personal recovery journeys. Please remember that each person's journey and circumstances are different, and not all of the information contained in this podcast may be relatable to you. It's important you consult your own GP or recovery team to seek out tailored advice before making any important decisions relating to your own health and recovery process. If you have found any of the content in this episode distressing, please contact your care team or a medical professional. If you or someone you know is in crisis and needs help now, please contact emergency services in your region immediately.